Welcome to my channel here, Swade Persuade, and we got a James Gunn Superman movie review. And I want to show you guys what I picked up at the theater. A Superman plush. And he's going to be keeping us company while I talk about the movie review. So I saw the movie yesterday at the theater in 3D, and it was a really amazing experience. Starting with the cast, you have David Cornsweet as Superman, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and then, sorry to spoil it for you guys, but at the very end, we got to see Supergirl, and that's Millie Alcock as her appearance. And then we had numerous roles with Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific make an appearance in the film. The way the movie started, it really made Superman be that meta-human that he is. And it was really cool to see the dog involved, Crypto. That made the movie, you know, me being a fellow dog owner, you know, that just made it like a cherry on the top, you know. The soundtrack of the Superman movie, I also did enjoy. But out of the 33 tracks, the two personal favorites was Luthor Corp and Raising the Flag. Why I really enjoyed Luthor Corp, I really enjoyed that new punk rock sound that they introduced to the Superman movie, new sound. Yeah, that fight scene with the hammer of Boravia and Superman, that was, it really had me in that moment of, I really felt that scene when I heard that, the soundtrack, Luthor Corp. You know, all in all, I really found the film to be really, it was really entertaining, you know. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, I think she had a bigger role to fill than David Cornsweet for Superman. I just found Lois Lane to be that typical office girl, very bitchy, you know, no offense, just very stuck up, and you know, I just felt that she should be very grateful that she knows the identity of Clark Kent and that he's actually Superman. And I found that to be, they did a very good job by picking the stereotypical Lois Lane, you know. More evidence to back up what I'm saying is when there's a scene where Mr. Terrific is showing up, and you know, Lois Lane is supposed to be Superman's partner, and all of a sudden that's your stereotypical way of you know, how she falls in love with somebody else, you know. And there was one scene where Superman kissed Lois Lane, and that scene did remind me of Spider-Man, from Spider-Man 2, or I believe it was the first Spider-Man film, sorry. So that was kind of funny. It was kind of long too. It was about a good minute to 2 minutes they were kissing for on the screen. It's kind of awkward, but really enjoyable. There was one girl, Lois Lane's secretary or her assistant. She had freaking big knockers. That should have been Lois Lane to me. I can't really think of the actor's name here. But I did enjoy her. Get to see Green Lantern He wasn't really wearing his typical suit. I'm not too sure why. But there's a scene where Superman's talking to Green Lantern in like a convention. It looks like a convention center. And I found that very cool because I was just at a convention center previous when this movie was announced, when it was coming out back in May 31st. Niagara Falls Comic Con I was at. You'll see the picture in my thumbnail. And you know, when I saw that, I was very intrigued. I was like, a new Superman film, I definitely got to see that. And you know, I did have a really great experience. I really enjoyed the ending. You know, spoiler alert. You know, when we got to see Supergirl. I almost didn't like the fact that Superman had robot assistants. You know, when you watch the original Superman with Christopher Reeves, you know, when you look at the way his parents are dressed and the silk of their clothes is just really bright. You know, that for that time they did a really good job captivating the use of their technology at that time. And I just felt like, you know, maybe the robot assistants could have been a tad bit better. But I did really enjoy Lex Luthor and his villain assistant, the girl. She was killer. She was badass. They find a way to break into Superman's cave and or Superman's home, and they ended up killing the assistant robots and kidnapping Crypto, Superman's dog. And there's a scene where Superman returns and he finds out that Crypto's gone, and then he goes straight to Lex Luthor's corporation building, and he asks Lex Luthor, where's his dog? And admittedly, the only difference I would have did with that scene is I would have had Superman shoot laser freaking beams at Lex Luthor there in that moment, you know. But then you get to see later on in the movie, Superman jumps through portals. He gives himself up because he's trying to find his dog, Crypto. And that's when we come across the character Metamorphin. And that was just a fascinating movie. I was really captivated by the whole movie. You know, there's a scene where Metamorpho can't carry his son, so Superman's carrying his son one-handed, and Superman's getting attacked. Stormy gets thrown into the lava, and with one hand he has the baby. He's managed to save the baby. I enjoyed that, you know. Another thing I really enjoyed was there was more than one villain, you know, the wide selection of villains. You had the Hammer of Broravia, you had Metamorpho, you had Ultraman, you had the Kaiju, just there was more than one villain, and I really liked that. What I didn't really like too much about it was it took away from Superman's film being Superman's film, that he had help from the Green Lantern's team. There's a scene where he's talking to Lois Lane, and they're fighting like a galactical alien creature in the sky while Superman's talking to Lois Lane, and I just felt like that should have been Superman's fight, you know. But other than that, I really did dig it. I did like the whole multiverse aspect, and I'm really grateful I got this guy, you know, because everything was sold out when it came to like popcorn buckets and the cups, but they had him, you know, so I had to grab him. But yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. Luther Corp and Raising the Flag from the Superman soundtrack were really great. And when I look up the score on IMDb, or it's a 7.7 out of 10, so that's really great. And I would actually rate it like a solid 8.5 out of 10, you know. But other than the fact that you know, Superman had a little bit way too much help, considering that he is the meta-human, it just kind of took away from it being his film. But you know, I went back to the trailers, and it's just an epic. It's just an epic ride. You know, it's another blockbuster movie for the summer. Did a really great job. Um, yeah, you know, I really enjoyed it. You know, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And if you did, please like, comment, subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.